When Tiger King was released, it took the world by surprise. A documentary about big cats, the breeding, and the insanity within. Now, a star of the show, Carol Baskin, is suing Netflix for the documentary. Why is she suing Netflix? What news about the second season that's to be released has been shared? Continue on to find out. What did Carol Baskin think of the first season? After Kim Kardashian tweeted online for her 64 million followers, what are your thoughts? Do you think Carol killed him? It was made clear that Tiger King had reached a very large audience. It was one of the biggest shows, if not the biggest, of 2020. A lot of people had something to say, but what did one of the stars, Carol Baskin, have to say? Baskin had stated that at first, she presumed the show would be good for big cat rescue, but after its airing, she was less than satisfied. According to Baskin, the documentary imploded the wealth of Don Lewis, the husband she's accused of murdering. They also showed the cages in her sanctuary to be smaller than they actually were, and exaggerated on a meat grinder she had. Our meat grinder was one of those little tabletop hand crank things, like you'd have in your kitchen at home. The idea that a human body and skeleton could be put through it is idiotic, but the Netflix directors did not care. They just showed a bigger grinder. It's not to say if these things are true or just accusations made by Baskin to save face. What's new with the Tiger King cast? Jeff Lowe, a star of the show, had come forward to announce that he received a letter telling him where the whereabouts of Don Lewis were. The corpse lies under the house, read a mysterious unmarked letter that Lowe received in May of 2020. While Lowe had refused to give the letters to police at first, claiming that the producers of Tiger King 2 told him to hold on to it, he has now given it up to the police, who are testing it for DNA and fingerprints. The star of the show, half of the reason people watch the show in the first place, Joe Exotic, let out in a note that he has what he calls aggressive cancer. He wrote in a letter, starting by telling everyone the news he brings comes with a sad face, writing that his prostate biopsy came back with aggressive cancer. He also said that he's waiting for another letter back from the doctor. He went on to let everyone know that it was not pity he was after with telling us this going on, to say that he thinks Carol is having her own little party after hearing the, to some, devastating news. Why is Carol Baskin suing Netflix? The sequel to Tiger King was released and fans all over the world were excited, and rightfully so. The original show was huge, and in a time where people had to stay in, it was something the world turned to avoid dying of boredom, and now they want to know what happens next. This is not the case for Tiger King star Carol Baskin, who made headlines for the news that she was suing Netflix for the creation of Tiger King 2. Baskin had alleged that Royal Goods Production used footage of her and her husband Howard Baskin in Tiger King 2, and this is a breach of contract since Carol and Howard only agreed for footage of them to be used in the first documentary. Carol has been against the second documentary since it was announced, even going after Eric Goode and Rebecca Chacklin, saying she wouldn't call them true documentaries, saying about the show, it was just a reality show dumpster fire. Baskin also discusses her dismay with the way the show was described to her versus the way the show came out. She stated the show was described to her as an expose of the big cat breeding and cub petting trade akin to the documentary feature film entitled Blackfish. What do we know about Tiger King 2? Netflix released the trailer for the show, letting fans know that we've only scratched the surface of insanity in the Tiger King world. They also went on to give us a release date. Tiger King 2 premieres on November 17th, 2021. All of the main characters were shown in the trailer, of course, except for Carol Baskin. It's said that Tiger King will focus on the secrets and the backstories of the infamous cat owners. Exotic's former business partner Jeff Lowe will be the owner of Joe's Zoo in the new series, taking center stage while Joe serves his 22-year prison sentence. At some point in the trailer, Lowe can be heard saying that he and his team have more money than God. The documentary will also include new Joe Exotic moments, and it will also discuss what happened to Tim Stark and Jeff Lowe regarding wildlife in need parks being visited by authorities, with several investigations into animal welfare offenses. We will also get some insight on how Joe feels about him doing time while everyone else on the show is there making money, claiming that he is, as he put it, paying the price for them. What happened in the case of Baskin v. Netflix? Carol Baskin sued Netflix over the use of her image in the notorious documentary. We know this, but what happened with the case? Baskin took the case to a Floridian judge. Her claim that the series breached her contract reached a judge who denied her order for a temporary restraining order. The restraining order, if she had succeeded, would block the production companies from featuring footage of Howard and Carol in their big cat rescue sanctuary. The judge judge said regarding the case, they are not entitled to the extraordinary remedy of a temporary restraining order. Baskin's main issue was that the trailer for Season 2 featured scenes that were shot only for Season 1 of the documentary, but ended up being used in the second season. The Baskins argued that to use the footage that was shot initially for the documentary in any other form of media than said documentary would be in violation of the release forms that Carole Baskin signed before they began filming. Her husband, Howard, spoke with People about the subject, saying, "While we cannot stop Netflix and Royal Good Productions from producing lowbrow, salacious programming, we do believe that we have the right to control footage filmed of us under false pretenses." What can we expect of Carole Baskin in the future? While we don't know what amount of Carole Baskin we'll be seeing in the new season of Tiger King, we know that we'll be seeing her back on the big screen once again. Baskin announced that she's working on her own unfiltered documentary. The show will focus on the world of big cats, but unlike Tiger King, her series, titled Cage Fight, will be the story of Carole Baskin, told by Carole Baskin. The show is set to be released November 10th, 4 days before Netflix is to release Tiger King 2. The show will follow Carole and Howard Baskin as they investigate the foul treatment of big cats that are privately owned. Baskin speaks on the complete lack of filter the show has, saying that this new documentary is a chance for fans to go behind the scenes and see them expose the cub petting and roadside zoos they believe to be treating animals poorly. Baskin also took the opportunity to once again offer up some criticism to the Tiger King crew, saying that she and Howard only signed on to be in the show because they were told it would shine a light on the abuse of wild animals. They also stated that Joe Exotic would only be a little bit of what they were. How did fans react to the news of Tiger King? Over the course of 2020, people found themselves binging many shows. One of the most binged shows was Tiger King, so it's safe to assume that the show had picked up a fan base. What do these fans think about their favorite show of 2020 getting a second season? Many have voiced their disappointment for a lack of Carole Baskin, wishing that she would have stayed on the show. Some have said that the show was just promoting animal cruelty and shouldn't have had a first season, let alone a second, but other people can't wait for the new season, and some can't wait to meet the new character that was introduced in the trailer. One Twitter user wrote, "I don't know who this new character is, but she's got the best dialogue for the trailer." Some questioned the sincerity of the cast, claiming that they feel more like actors just trying to live up to the version of them that was painted on screen in the first season, but mainly the reaction received from fans of the wild show was just a mixture of both fear and excitement for what's to come. Judging from the new trailer and the previous season, we're safe to assume it will be crazy. With whatever happens in the new season, we can all safely say that it will be insane. Joe Exotic and the crew are back, and nothing and nobody is safe. Prepare to hear the buzz all around your schools and workplaces. Are you going to watch the new season? Do you prefer to watch the new Carole Baskin documentary instead? Let us know what your pick is down below in the comments section. Thanks for watching.